This is section 6.5, video 5. We were last talking about how cosine of 2 theta is cosine squared minus sine squared of theta. But if we want to replace sine squared of theta, this becomes cosine squared of theta minus 1 minus cosine squared of theta, which then becomes cosine squared of theta minus 1 plus cosine squared of theta. If you have 1 cosine squared of theta plus 1 cosine squared of theta, this becomes 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1, which you'll notice that is another way that you can write cosine of 2 theta. Now, instead of replacing the sine squared of theta, let's say we want to replace cosine squared of theta with 1 minus sine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta. In this case, it becomes 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta, which is the third way that you can write cosine of 2 theta. Okay? So these are called the double angle formulas. All right, so let's take a look at using them. Say we've got sine of theta equals 3 over 5. So our y value is 3, our r value is 5. We're not on the unit circle clearly, so we need to find x. And since y is 3 and r is 5, we know x is going to be 4. Since pi over 2 and pi, that is in quadrant 2, that means that x is going to be negative 4. So then we want to take a look at sine of 2 theta, which based on our formula we know is 2 sine of theta times cosine of theta. So this becomes 2 times 3 over 5 times negative 4 over 5. And our answer is going to look like 25 in the denominator, 2 goes up top, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. You can't reduce that, so that's your final answer. Now, for the cosine of 2 theta, you can use any formula that you want, and I'll show you that they all work. So let's say we want to do it as 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta, simply because they gave us sine of theta, so that's pretty easy to start with. So this becomes 1 minus 2 times 3/5 squared. So 1 minus 2 times 9/25, which would become 1 minus 18 over 25. So you have 25 over 25 minus 18 over 25, which is going to give you 7 over 25. So that's using one of the formulas. Now let's try it using the cosine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta. So this was another way that cosine of 2 theta could be written. Now cosine of theta we know is negative 4/5 squared minus sine of theta, which is 3/5 squared. So this becomes 16 over 25 minus 9 over 25. 16 minus 9, 7 over 25. Still got us the same answer. And the last one was you could have done 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1. So that would be 2 times negative 4/5 squared minus 1. This becomes 2 times 16 over 25 minus 1. So 32 over 25 minus 25 over 25. 32 minus 25 is 7 over 25. So it doesn't matter which formula you use for cosine of 2 theta, you end up getting the same answer. Now, let's take a look at this example. If sine of theta equals 1/3, a positive 1/3, and theta is in quadrant 2, we need to find the exact values of cosine of theta, sine of theta plus pi over 6, cosine of pi minus pi over 3, sine of 2 theta, and cosine of 2 theta. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying that y is 1, x is what I'm looking for, and r is 3. Since I'm in quadrant 2, x is going to be negative, so I've got x squared plus 1 equals 9, x squared equals 8, so x equals negative 2 square root of 2. Okay, so to find cosine of theta, we'll take our x over our radius. So negative 2 square root of 2 over 3. To find sine of theta plus pi over 6, we rewrite it using our formula. Theta is in the alpha spot, pi over 6 is in the beta spot. So sine of theta times cosine of pi over 6 plus cosine of theta times sine of pi over 6. Well, sine of theta is 1/3. That was given to us. Cosine of pi over 6 is still the square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of theta, we just found it. It's -2 square root of 2 over 3. And sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. All right. So this becomes the square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 2 all over 6. To find cosine of theta minus pi over 3, theta is your alpha, pi over 3 is your beta. Using our formula, this is cosine of theta, cosine of pi over 3. Since it's a minus sign there, it's a plus sign here. Sine of theta, sine of pi over 3. Cosine of theta is -2 square root of 2 over 3 times cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2 plus sine of theta is 1/3 times sine of pi over 3 is the square root of 3 over 2. So our answer is going to look like -2 square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 all over 6. Excuse me. Okay, now for sine of 2 theta, we use our formula, which is 2 sine of theta cosine of theta. So that's going to be 2 times 1/3 times -2 square root of 2 over 3, which would make -4 square root of 2 over 9. Can't reduce it, so we're done. And then cosine of 2 theta, I'm going to choose to use the 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta. So this is going to look like 1 minus 2 times 1/3 squared. So I have 1 minus 2 times 1 over 9, which becomes 1 minus 2 over 9, which would be 7 over 9. Done. Excuse me. Okay, so for tonight, your assignment is in your textbook. It is on page 519, numbers 8 through 14 even. You only have to do parts A and B. Don't worry about C or D, I think. Just do A and B. Then do 30, 36, and 40. This is your last assignment in this section. Next thing is going to be the study guide. Good luck.